So hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for a look at what's new and what's next for ZeroTier 1 for Enterprise. I'm Andrew Galt, CEO here at ZeroTier. I joined last year, and I work closely with our founder, Adam, every single day. My joining has really freed up Adam to focus on our roadmap and push forward a lot of what we're going to show you today, and of course, some very exciting announcements later in the year. I'm joined today by Lennon and Angelo. Gentlemen, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, I'm Lennon Day Reynolds. I head up solutions architecture here at ZeroTier. I joined a little over 2 years ago, and I've been working on the engineering team since then. So definitely been right in the middle of a lot of what you're going to see today. And I'm really excited to both show it to you, and then in the coming months, maybe work hand in hand with a number of you to sort of adopt and explore all these new improvements. So thanks.
Hey everyone, Angelo Rodriguez. I'm the SVP of Global Operations. I've been with the company for a little over 2 years. Of course, work closely with Andrew and Lennon. I oversee areas like customer success, technical support, channel partnerships, and I do a lot of work with our self-serve products and other areas of ZeroTier operations. But really, really excited to show you all the updates that we have for you today. So let's jump in.
Great, thank you both. Okay, so a quick run through the agenda of what we've got lined up to talk about today. So first, a quick refresher on who we are, what ZeroTier does, and a short overview of how we do it. Then Angelo will share some of the customer use cases we had front and center while developing our latest features. He'll talk about new enterprise-grade support options we're rolling out too. Then Lennon will dive into the meat of the presentation. He'll show off all the latest enterprise features, including a refreshed admin dashboard UI and the powerful new access control system. And after that, they'll give you a sneak peek at what's coming soon, including new device-centric screens and some long-requested infrastructure changes. Next, we'll talk about ways you can get involved, whether that's through our new partner program or future early access track. And we'll save for the end some time to wrap up some Q&A. So on housekeeping, this session is being recorded. We will send out a link afterward with some handy notes and links. You can rewatch it. You can share it with your team. I don't think there's any reason for any of you to be taking notes as you're watching along. And as I mentioned, we'll save a bunch of time at the end for some Q&A. We received a ton of great questions from you all during registration. If you didn't send any yet, I believe you can also drop in a question during the webinar through Zoom. I think there's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Of course, I can't promise we'll get to all your questions live, but we will try and get back to everyone. Okay, so let's kick things off with a quick refresher on what ZeroTier is. We spent a lot of time recently discussing internally exactly how to describe what we do. Depending on who you ask, you'll get lots of different solution names. It's very use case dependent, we found. Anyway, we've been called a mesh network overlay, a virtual Ethernet switch, a VPN replacement, or sometimes just magic. Lennon, Angelo, what's your favorite description of what we do?
I think I always come back to it's an invisible, infinitely long network cable. You can just like summon it out of thin air, plug it into your devices, it follows them along wherever they go, and suddenly they're networked. It's great.
I think that's a much cooler way to describe it, Lennon. And I always kind of default to software-defined networking solution. To me, that's kind of like a catch-all for all the things that ZeroTier does.
I'm with Lennon. I prefer the giant magic switch in the sky. Let's do that. Anyway, whatever you call us, we are bringing next-generation connectivity and next-generation cybersecurity to businesses around the globe. So when I get asked to explain ZeroTier, I always try and start with what I think is a personal example for who I'm talking to. I bet if everyone looks down at their desk, their phone is about 6 inches away from their desktop. Of course, that is in the real world space, in network space, they're much further apart. So I did a little experiment a couple of weeks ago in a coffee shop here in Portland, Oregon, which is on the west coast of the United States if you're further afield. And to trace between my laptop and my phone was 13 hops routing through Idaho, Washington, Seattle, Washington State, and back down to Oregon. That was 4,000 miles and 22 milliseconds of distance between the phone and my laptop, which are 6 inches apart. And if you think about that, that's 13 potential man in the middles, 13 systems that all need to be patched, updated, maintained correctly, 13 routes, of course, that could be misconfigured, and obviously 4,000 miles of physical infrastructure, right? That's a lot of cable, which someone could dig up either by accident or maliciously, which may matter depending on your use case. So when you add ZeroTier into the mix, all of that gets abstracted away. My phone and my laptop are connected. They're one hop apart. It's just like having to switch on my desk to Ethernet cables. ZeroTier doesn't care if I move, if I roam, if my phone switches telephone provider. It doesn't care if I get on a plane, fly halfway around the world. They will always appear one hop apart on a local, safe, secure local network. It's super easy to reason about that. I think a lot of network engineers in particular, which was me 20 years ago, loved that that's so logically easy to reason about. And of course, it collapses the attack surface area down to just the IP stack of the underlying operating system. So super easy connectivity, super robust, reliable connectivity, and then everything just gets so much more secure, almost as a side effect. Anyway, Lennon, can you walk us through a little deeper on how we make that magic work?
Absolutely. So really, at the core, ZeroTier manages and abstracts away networking complexity, so your team doesn't have to. Our customers come to us with fragmented and complex networks that are fragile and difficult to maintain, or products and services they want to deploy across networks they don't even have insight into yet. We help them build networks using ZeroTier 1 that are simple, resilient, and secure. It's all based on direct, encrypted peer-to-peer connections. We build an overlay network that works across other last-mile providers and connection types. It deployed firewalls, NAT gateways, cloud VPCs, any other infrastructure that might happen to be between your devices. The entire thing is self-healing. It's continuously finding working and optimized paths between all the devices on your network. So if a last hop path changes or a link goes down, the ZeroTier agent will find an alternative, reroute, bring the connection back up automatically. Setup's really fast. You install one small software agent on each connected device, click Create Network, and go. There's no dedicated hardware, no port forwarding or firewall rules to manage, and no centralized cloud concentrator or API or provider that all your traffic has to route through. Everything's end-to-end encrypted and, again, passed directly between peers on the network. Only the trusted peers you select are allowed onto the network. Others simply get dropped. All your devices have a unique, durable cryptographic identity based on a key pair, and you build your network by simply picking the devices by ID that you want to have included. Creates an instant L2 virtual Ethernet network containing all of them. Your data stays entirely private. It doesn't transit our servers or a cloud infrastructure providers. We don't have encryption keys for any of your traffic. We don't see it. It's all up to you. And whether your devices are static, mobile, roaming between ISPs, you get the same robust connectivity, security, and control over how all of them are connected. Angelo, you want to jump in?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Look, we're not a niche tool or a point solution. We're providing secure network across a wide mix of industries, each with their own different needs and requirements. We've got customers in finance and healthcare and government that are deeply concerned about security and control. We're in hospitality and gaming and retail environments where speed and uptime are everything. We're also powering IoT and edge deployments, with zero touch, giving MSPs and telcos the tools and resources they need to scale fast without having to reinvent the wheel. That's some of the value add that we bring to a lot of our customers, all over the world. If you're wondering whether ZeroTier can handle your edge use case, the odds are we probably already are. And I can give you a couple of examples. So let's go over to the next slide. Thank you. These are some common areas where customers use solutions like ZeroTier, but I'll give you two specific examples. The first one is a company called Metropolis Technologies. So Metropolis is a computer vision platform provider. They focus on providing a checkout-free experience for parking garages all over the world. The challenge they face really is deploying their edge equipment at parking garages and managing traffic across all of these sites, across their cloud providers, but with networks or on networks that they don't own and control. And so with ZeroTier, they were able to build a virtual network that allows those edge devices to connect to their cloud services and other resources as if they were on the same physical network. The benefit is this reduced their deployment time. So not only is there this kind of security element, but it reduced their deployment time from months to same-day implementation if needed. So, rapidly able to deploy, get instant insight into that equipment, and to be able to scale really infinitely. Planning to go from 5,000 plus devices and sites and scaling all over the world. So really excited to see what they're doing and partnering with them, of course. The second is Forest Rock. Forest Rock is a software provider in the IoT space. They're based out of the UK, and they specialize in building management systems. The challenge they faced was providing secure remote access to things like energy meters and water meters, HVAC systems. And those systems frequently reside, again, on networks they don't own and control. And so they leverage IoT edge devices combined with ZeroTier to create secure remote access without the headaches and security risks of public static IPs. So this eliminates the need to have people on site to troubleshoot and significantly reduces deployment time. So we can go through to the next one there, Dan. And I want to talk a little bit about support, because this is an area we've been spending a lot of time and resources on, all based on support that we're getting from all of you. We know that for our enterprise customers, support is often just as important as the features of a platform. And so that's why, as part of ZeroTier 1 for Enterprise, we're also introducing new support packages that include upcoming structured SLAs and expanded options for teams running critical infrastructure at scale. We're looking at 24/7 technical support with fast response times, documented service and operating SLAs, deployment guidance for regulated or air-gapped environments, which tend to be really complex and require quite a bit of guidance and consulting from ZeroTier. Custom setup and central UI configuration options, and then, as I mentioned, direct collaboration for complex rollouts and infrastructure planning. Lennon and his team, myself, and many others at ZeroTier will work directly with you and your teams to help you kind of navigate those complex needs that, again, infrastructure planning, custom tooling, or even direct collaboration with our engineering team. We are tooled and resourced to make sure that you and your organization are set up for success. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Lennon to talk about some of our new enterprise features.
Thanks, Angelo. Very excited to get into this. We've been a little bit quiet on the announcement front for a while, but that's because we've really been head down, working closely with some of our top customers to understand kind of end to end what needs, what problems they're solving with ZeroTier, and how we can build solutions to match that. ZeroTier as a piece of networking technology has been really capable and a big part of a lot of our customers' networking stories for a long time. But like the services and support that Angelo described, there's a bigger picture, right? The tools need to be available to you in a way that really fit how your business is deploying ZeroTier. So a lot of the focus for these upcoming releases are in exactly that space. Two big ones, first and foremost: new powerful way to manage access to your ZeroTier deployments based on a core technology called Rebback. And across the board, a streamlined, modernized, majorly improved user experience for the entire administration dashboard and control panel. So let's talk a little bit about Rebback first. So access control, pretty well-established field, but when you look at most tools, especially networking tools that are talking about user access, you tend to see a lot of systems built on a technology called RBAC, Role-Based Access Control. And RBAC is simple and straightforward to implement. And the basic idea is you take a user, in this case, our friend Wile E. Coyote, who is a very capable network administrator, although a little bit prone to running off the rails at time. So we've given Wile E. A network admin role. Now, that's a very broad and sweeping role. As you can see, we've had to enumerate a ton of discrete permissions. Those of you who have worked extensively with ZeroTier in the past have probably experienced this, just attaching a ton of granular access rules to individual user accounts. Roles help a little bit, but only as much as you can make a small set of roles that describe all possible use cases. In the real world, you end up with a proliferation of roles, each with fairly complex and overlapping access. And it can be hard to reason about and hard to restrict access to just what's needed. So in this case, Wile E. as a network admin has access to all of these networks across all of these scopes. But in fact, all he really needs access to is a subset of them. So that's where Rebback, relationship-based access control, comes into play. Instead of defining a single global role for a user across the entire platform, you define a role in the context of a particular resource to be managed. So in this case, we know that Wile E.'s job function really only requires him to access resources inside domain number 2, which contains networks 3 and 4. Networks 1 and 2 are part of a different business unit, a different project. Wile E. doesn't need access. But in a role-based system, those are all the same kind of resource, and his role would grant access to each of them. So Rebback lets us say things like, Wile E. is an admin on domain 2. Implicitly, that means the networks contained within it are reachable, and other resources that are needed, devices, organizational details, etc. It can work in both directions. So the links between objects help define the policy for what each user can do. So it's granular, it matches how real orgs actually work, and it scales without turning into a nightmare of fine-grained permissions and memberships and individual user assignments. So with that, I'd love to do a quick demo walkthrough of some of these changes. As I said, in addition to specific features, we've done a ton of work top to bottom to make the whole user experience a lot cleaner and a lot more intuitive. So going to do a whirlwind view of a number of things here. Be excited to go deeper into this with all of you in the coming weeks as we get this closer to launch. But we'll start with just sort of the usual SSO login to the system. But as any of you who've used ZeroTier in the past can probably already tell, this is a dramatically different experience. The entire UX is cleaned up, modernized, navigation is more intuitive, the controls you need are right in front of you. And we've introduced some important new concepts, like here you see domains as a top-level resource that helps you group together networks that have shared configuration, access control policies, even IP address management and other services that can be attached. So we'll go into a single domain here, and you can see I have some settings that are now attached at the domain level. So those, again, can be managed independently, and some that we'll get into in the individual network. Want to touch briefly on that access control. As I mentioned, we've implemented Rebback from top to bottom. We've also added a flexible concept of teams, which let you group users based on job function, geography, business unit, etc. When you are working to create a team, it's really intuitive. Add whatever members you need from your group, assign a role. Again, the role is in the context of the organization, in this case. In other resources, we can attach this team more locally to a domain, to a network, etc. So now I have this new team, Edge Network Admins, and I can associate them with permissions in any of the other objects that I have deployed. So going back to the domain, you can see I have detailed access control at the domain level, and likewise in my particular network. So again, top to bottom, shape your access and your configuration according to how you've actually deployed ZeroTier and what your team needs to do the job. That's really, at a high level, kind of what's happening in the front end in the upcoming enterprise release. I'm going to head back into the presentation so we can give you a sneak peek of some of the changes that are coming a little further in the year. So first, devices obviously are at the heart of everything that you do with ZeroTier. They are what you're connecting. They're where the resources and services you need live. And so part of the ZeroTier 1 for Enterprise update has been bringing devices front and center as something you can manage independently of their membership in any particular network. So you can set metadata, see the connection history and network memberships for each of those devices, and attach policies and other useful configuration at the device level. So again, like domains, this lets you cut across individual networks and find more usable, sort of reusable ways of managing your deployment. So here you can see devices joined across networks, connection history, network details, etc. And then we'll move on and show this also extends to provisioning and membership lifecycle. So lots more to come here, but the idea is your devices are first front and center in ZeroTier. Yes, the networks are what stitch them together, but we want to make it as intuitive and safe and productive as possible to manage those devices throughout their entire lifecycle. Finally, the last piece of the sort of resilience and reliability pie, infrastructure. So today, the ZeroTier control plane and infrastructure are deployed and scaled to support millions of active devices across the globe. This works for every ZeroTier connected device and user. Unfortunately, because it's shared infrastructure across every user, in some cases, a particular pool of devices or networks can consume more than their fair share, and that can degrade performance, slow down peer discovery, limit throughput on relay traffic, just generally worsen the experience. So for ZeroTier Enterprise, in our sort of upcoming sort of releases, we're going to be adding more and more dedicated infrastructure to each instance of ZeroTier Enterprise. So at the beginning, that's network controllers, configuration data, logs, all of the sort of application level data. But shortly thereafter, we're going to be deploying, giving you the option to deploy dedicated relays and discovery infrastructure so that you can place the ZeroTier network infrastructure that your connectivity depends on close to your users and workloads. That includes spanning geographic regions, cloud providers, even extending to on-prem and air-gap deployments. Angelo mentioned that we've worked hand in hand with advanced and particular sort of deployments to allow fully air-gapped and standalone environments. We're bringing that as a turnkey offering as part of ZeroTier Enterprise. So whether you're in a regulated industry, working in a region of the world with limited connectivity, or just have other reasons you need to own your infrastructure, we're going to give you that ability. So these infrastructure offerings will also come with improved SLAs and availability guarantees because we can place and scale that infrastructure according to your specific needs. So none of your traffic, your data, or your resources will be intermixed with anyone else's, and we can scale and support it for your particular use case. With that, I'm going to pass it back to Angelo to talk a little bit more about how you can engage and get involved with ZeroTier.
Awesome. Thanks, Lennon. So yeah, let's talk about a few of the ways that you can get involved with us. First, our new partner program. This is something that so many of you have been asking for. We've been hard at work on making this a reality. This is the first phase of our program. You may have seen our press release. So whether you're a VAR or an MSP, a router OEM, systems integrator, or any one of the many partners in a channel ecosystem, we now have a program that will help you to boost revenue, to modernize your customers' networks, to differentiate your portfolio with a new solution that your customers may not have seen before, to set yourself apart from many of your competitors, and most importantly, to accelerate sales. Right, you have a solution that you can deploy in minutes, which means time to value, time to revenue for you is rapidly accelerated. So we're really excited to get this off the ground. We're using a platform called PartnerStack to power the program, and we're getting started with us is quick and easy. I mean, it's as simple as filling out a short application form on the site. You can see our site URL here at the bottom. For those of you who have already reached out and expressed interest in our program, you'll receive an invite from us to the program in the coming days. But once you're approved, you'll have the ability to refer business to ZeroTier via a customer affiliate link, where your customers can be pointed to ZeroTier through our self-serve products. This is really for your smaller opportunities that are able to go in and self-serve. But as they follow that affiliate link and join our program, and sign up for either our essential or premium subscription, you'll receive a commission from ZeroTier for driving that business to us. Secondly is deal registration. And so for a larger, more complex opportunity that requires a ZeroTier salesperson to engage on, you'll have access to deal registration. We have training. We're looking at co-marketing, real support from a team that's committed to helping you succeed. But that deal registration process is deeply integrated with our CRM. And so you'll have the ability to see each and every step of that sales journey all the way to close. And so we're excited to be able to share that with you. We're excited to work with you and kind of lock arms on that program and really to help drive ZeroTier engagement all over the world. So more to come. You'll see more in a follow-up email, but we're very excited to roll this out to all of you. I'll move over to the next, which is our early access program. So this is coming soon, but you'll have the ability to apply using the link that you'll see in a follow-up email. You see the URL here. But customers who are accepted will have early access to new releases you can test in your environments and then provide direct feedback to our team. So again, there's multiple ways to engage with us. Hopefully you found all of this as really exciting as we did. And with that, I'll turn it over to Andrew.
I'm sorry, talking to my mute button there. Thank you, Angelo, and thank you, Lennon, for the demo. I'm also very excited about that partnership opportunities for everyone. So, as mentioned, we've reserved some time to wrap up with a Q&A. If you have any question you haven't already asked, I think you can still submit using that Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom screen. And if you are comfortable doing so, please do include your name, title, industry, contact details. We love speaking directly to customers. It's how we learn which features to build next. It's like, as I think you've heard, there are so many amazing use cases for ZeroTier. It's almost, there's an abundance of use cases, and we'd love to hear about your specific one and exactly how we can help you. So anyway, we got some great questions during registration. We won't be able to answer all of them live, of course, but if we don't get to your question today, we will try and get back to everyone in due course. Okay, so I'll actually kick it off with the first question, which I get asked all the time by customers. Why did this take so long? So a lot of this work has been happening behind the scenes for well over a year. We built an entirely new front-end UX team, and we've completely rebuilt Central from the foundations up, right? Central was created many years ago with an eye to much smaller deployments, I think, than we're frequently seeing now with our customers. And as ZeroTier has grown as a company and our customer base has expanded, it was time to get a new foundation, get it right, so that we could start delivering new features that will build and scale for the next 10 years along with our roadmap. So that meant rethinking how customers use ZeroTier day to day, how access control actually works when you have large enterprise teams of 100 people, how device management could work when you have tens of thousands of devices, and how the UI should work across super complicated deployments, right? We're all expert network engineers, but we still have information overload, right? We got to be able to jump down into a domain and focus on the project at hand. So I think this upcoming mid-July release will really set us up to move much faster from here. And you should expect a regular cadence of releases from ZeroTier going forward. Okay. Next, our first real question. A question from an MSP. When will I be able to use Rebback to manage my downstream customers? Sounds like one for you, Angelo.
Happy to take it. Before I answer that one, I did see a note that a few people were having a hard time getting to the partnership page. If you just add the www prefix, that will solve your problem. So don't forget the www prefix, and you should be good to go to get to that page. So hopefully that resolves some of those issues. But to the question about being able to use Rebback to manage downstream customers, this is one that we've been hearing all the time. It's on our roadmap, targeting a late summer release following the release of ZeroTier 1 for enterprise. The work that we've done for our UX, on our UX and around Rebback that Lennon shared earlier, that really lays the foundation for us to better support service providers. And so that's really where we're going with this.
Okay, someone here is asking, they say, we have an air-gapped ZeroTier 1 environment to support devices in parts of the world with limited access to the rest of the internet. That's worked very well for desktop and server devices, but not mobile. Will this help our mobile users? That's definitely one for you, Lennon.
Yeah, so good news. We actually have a mobile release coming in the next few weeks that will support full air-gap deployments. So the classic sort of approach and framing for this with ZeroTier has used something we call moons. Deep sort of technical details about that, but we have this global infrastructure for peer discovery. Moons are a way of running a federated bit of that inside your own data center or network or infrastructure you control. It's actually part of what we're leveraging for the ZeroTier enterprise offering. But in the meantime, we do have customers who are running their own sort of self-managed infrastructure. And yes, the inability to support mobile clients on those networks has been a strong wish from them for a long time. So we are delivering that in the next point release of the mobile clients. Look for that in both the Google Play and Apple App Stores very soon. That will also be followed as we roll out ZeroTier for enterprise with its dedicated infrastructure, with full support and parity on mobile clients for all the other features, like client SSO with multi-factor authentication and remote configuration loading, and all the other things you need to attach your clients to your dedicated ZeroTier enterprise environment. So stay tuned on that, but we know mobile is important, and we're going to be working in lockstep to keep feature support for all of the new capabilities that we're rolling out available in mobile apps as we go. So great question.
Okay. Next, we got a question from an admin at an energy management company. They're asking, what's the typical onboarding time for a new site or device? That's for you, Lennon.
Yeah, that's another great question. So again, good news. Time to deploy is one of the big sort of advantages and wins that we hear about from customers all the time with ZeroTier. So people use us to connect sites where they have no control over the edge network, or it's unreliable, they're not sure what mode of connectivity they're going to be on. They can't even physically access the site in order to wire up connectivity. So by installing ZeroTier on either a embedded router or the edge device being deployed itself, you can take that setup time from weeks of troubleshooting local network conditions to minutes, adding the device in the central control panel. And since ZeroTier can also run on pretty resource-constrained devices like portable LTE and 5G hotspots, you can actually bring ZeroTier directly at that local network level, and your devices don't even need to know that it's in the mix. You get the same transparent, secure connectivity without doing anything on the individual edge device being deployed. So yes, please do check out our Metropolis case study if you want more details on a particular shape of that kind of deployment. But we'd be happy to work with you to, get your time to deploy, like I said, down to minutes or hours instead of weeks or months. And it's a consistent strength of the platform.
Okay, I've got a great live question actually. It's just come in. Will there be a partner portal, and what will that look like? I think, Angelo, you can speak to that.
For sure, happy to. Yes, there will be a partner portal. So when I was going through the partner program, I mentioned PartnerStack. That is the platform that we're leveraging for our partner portal. So what that will look like is once you are accepted as a partner, you will have access to log into the PartnerStack portal. You'll have things like resources, decks, marketing collateral. You'll also, most importantly, be able to see all of the customers that you drive to ZeroTier. You'll be able to see where kind of in the pipeline they are. And when those customers are closed or they transact through our self-serve, you'll be able to track exactly how much business you're driving and how much you're receiving in commission. So it's a very robust platform. We chose them for that reason. And you'll have full access once you're admitted into the program.
Okay, and then on a similar vein here, another live question. As an MSP, will I be able to manage all of my client ZeroTier deployments from a single admin portal? I think that might be one actually for you, Lennon.
Yeah, short answer, yes, that's the entire goal. So because of both the access control model and some of the new organizational tools we provided, like domains, yes, you should be able to map your actual real-world deployment, including your client relationships, onto your ZeroTier configuration and manage the whole thing in one place. Another capability, which we didn't even showcase in the demo, but that we are building out, is making organizations, the top-level unit of grouping, a user manageable feature as well. So an instance of ZeroTier Enterprise will be able to support multiple logical organizations coexisting within it. So you have one business relationship with ZeroTier and as many downstream relationships with your customers, business units, et cetera, as you need to represent the structure of your organization and your deployment. So yes, that is absolutely our goal. We think the features that we're delivering will go a long way to helping with that. And we really do want to partner with MSPs and other sort of platform and service vendors to make sure that what we're delivering does match those needs. But yeah, short answer, I think this will go a long way to making that a just out of the box great experience.
Thank you. Just got one in here. Someone's asking about the apps for iOS and Android and when will they get a newly designed UI. So I think maybe I can answer that one. It's coming. It's on the roadmap. We're really showing off here our next release, which, like I said, is mid-July. But this is the beginning of a new cadence and a new rhythm from ZeroTier, and you should expect consistent releases. And of course, we're aware that the iOS and Android apps need some love. Their new UIs in particular need some love, and so we'll look forward to adding that to a future roadmap. Okay, I'm going to jump through here one. Lennon, how easy is it to train a team on how to use ZeroTier?
Well, there are kind of two answers to that. One is networking is complicated. ZeroTier makes it easier. We certainly remove a lot of the layers of configuration and configuration conflicts and sort of messy nested connectivity. But at the end of the day, some basic sort of understanding of networking fundamentals, is still useful. That being said, if you have a team that's able to wrangle, the usual 192.168 sort of local network configuration, ZeroTier should not require a lot more deep domain knowledge or specialized sort of training than you already have. Devices are devices. Networks are virtual and software-based. There's no physical connections or troubleshooting to be done, no complex asset management and figuring out which rack and port, something is connected to. So we think combined with the upgraded UI that we're offering in the ZeroTier Enterprise update, it really should be fast and easy for your team with just the most basic IT and networking experience to get up and running with ZeroTier and now have global reach for your connectivity instead of your home office or region. So.
Okay, and then a question from a financial services firm. Does ZeroTier support compliance-heavy environments or regulated industries? Angelo, can you talk to that?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we work with a lot of teams in highly regulated industries. I showed a few of those previously, but we are SOC 2 certified. We offer formal support agreements to help with setup and tools that are built with security in mind. Like Lennon mentioned, we're also working on turnkey options for running fully isolated environments. So stay tuned for more on that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I think we're at time here. So I'd love to thank Lennon and Angelo for a great presentation. Lennon in particular was a great demo there. I think it's very exciting for us all to see. Thank you, of course, to the ZeroTier team, which I hope some of you are watching. It's been a long time coming. It's been well over a year work. and it's great to show off everything you've been doing to our users. And of course, thank you to our customers for joining today. As mentioned, you can look forward to much more frequent things like this and much more frequent updates as they come. And thank you so much for using ZeroTier. Bye.